Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Wizards on Fire, the show where we interview Windsor High School staff about random things and discuss life in general, while eating progressively hotter wings. I'm the host, Mr. Vasa. I'm the host this week. This will be my last week. Next week we get into the students alongside Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Welcome. Glad to be here.
Are you excited for this challenge that we're about to endure?
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it. A little apprehensive, wondering how hot this is going to be, but that's why we're here.
I think we're all wondering. We have a new sauce this week. We're going with Elijah's Triple X Regret, about 650 on the Scoville scale, 650,000, just so you understand. But let's go ahead and get started. Wing number 1, straight from Wing Shack. This is their basic hot sauce. Going boneless today. Pretty easy one to get into.
Yeah, good breakfast.
I hope you feel that way after the show. Let's talk about your roots. Coming from Nebraska, small town Nebraska, 3,000 people in O'Neill, is that right?
Yeah, around that, maybe 3,800, something like that.
And then coming to Windsor, another small town, as you got to hear. What are some of the small town roots that you still have with you?
I think just the values of people in a small town, just hard work, people that help each other out, help each other through things, and just friendly people, and blue collar. That's in my roots. That's definitely for sure. So, just really a lot of hardworking people.
Do you see that here in Windsor as well?
I think so. Yeah. Yes, I think the roots are still here, even though we're growing. I know there's still the underlying base, I will call it, of the blue-collar, hardworking farming community, the ag community, and it's nice to see. Is
it hard to watch Windsor grow as it is, coming from O'Neill, small town, probably to Windsor when it was a small town?
There's some advantages to growing. I don't mind it so much. It's the traffic. I think more than anything, it's the traffic. A little harder to get around than it used to be, but with growth, traffic's going to come, so I guess it's just called patience.
Yeah.
Kind of have to be a little more patient. I-25 to Denver, hard to be patient sometimes because it's going to be a slow process.
When did you move to Windsor?
2003.
Okay.
Came here and permanently in August 2003.
Okay, all right. Well, let's dive into number 2.
All right.
Golden hot, another softball as I like to call it. It's got some butter.
Yeah. Pretty good. Yeah. Just priming us for later on.
Right. Nose isn't running yet. Not a lot of sweat coming off at this point in time. Question number 2, as you mentioned, you've had a number of blue-collar jobs. You owned your own lawn business, did some body shop work at an auto store in Nebraska, from what I was told.
Well, my grandfather owned a John Deere shop with his brother.
Okay.
So I grew up working on tractors and farm equipment from the time I was little through early in high school. So it was a lot of fun. I found out, later on I realized that I liked getting dirty, getting greasy, and learned a lot about problem solving, that's for sure. Didn't realize it at the time.
How has that blue collar aspect in those jobs helped you as an educator, and how'd you get into education?
Well, I think first of all it helped me, just as I mentioned earlier, the hard work aspect, just showing up every day, working hard, watching my parents and my grandparents, just dedication to just doing the job every day, and for years. And what was the other question?
How did you get into education?
Oh, I actually went to college to be an engineer because I was pretty good at math and science. And the story is that my counselor in high school said, you should look into engineering because you're pretty good at math and science and you like math and science. So that's what I chose to do, and went to university. Now it's the University of Nebraska-Kearney. Back then it was Kearney State. And I was going to school for pre-engineering because they didn't have the actual degree, but I was doing pre-engineering and I was wrestling. And I finally, during my second year, I think I asked somebody, I said, what does an engineer do? I don't even know. They just told me to do it, so that's what I did.
Yeah.
Talk about not really checking into the career, right? So I started to coach back in the summer in O'Neill, help kids with baseball, t-ball, things like that, a little bit of wrestling. And I thought, wow, I really like helping these kids. And so that's when I decided to switch to education, because I really enjoyed helping kids and seeing them be successful and just seeing them, I guess, be happy about, having some success at something.
How long have you been in education then?
This is my is this 37 or 38? I believe this is 37 years, starting my 37th year in education. So,
how many you got left?
I get asked that quite a bit. I don't know. I just said, I got to get my last child through college, and hopefully I can keep going for a little while longer, maybe 5 or 6 more years for sure. And but you never know. We'll see.
And Jaden's a sophomore over at UNC.
Yes, yes, academic-wise, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's dive into wing number 2 or number 3. This is my personal favorite, garlic hot. I can eat those all day.
Me too. I think garlic hot is one I get when I get Wingstop.
I'm pretty sure it's their most common sauce. I think that's definitely a good one right there. All
That's
right.
good.
So my next question, part of the way we create the interview is to email others who might know you and ask them if they have any good information on you. So I got some information, but the person that gave me the information would not tell me any more than what I'm about to ask you.
Okay.
You ready? Tell me about Russell.
Well, when we're in our meetings in the office with our administration, or sometimes learning coaches, different people.
Okay.
For a few years, if we're talking on a topic and something comes to mind for somebody else,
Go ahead.
If somebody gets off topic, and I can tend to do that sometimes if I just have something to say real brief about something, we used to say squirrel. So if somebody will say squirrel, like, hey, we're getting off topic here. So I don't know who came up with the furry squirrel, but somebody found a pretty cool looking little furry squirrel. And this year, one of us administrators, it wasn't me, somebody said, hey, we need to name our squirrel. And so it was right around the time I don't know how we got on this. Somebody asked me my middle name. My middle name is Russell because my dad's name is Russell.
Okay.
So we decided to name our squirrel Russell. So Russell is one of our prized possessions in the conference room. So if you go in the conference room,
Okay.
take a look. You'll see Russell.
We should get some video of Russell.
Yeah, he's a pretty good looking squirrel.
Let's kind of follow up on the meeting. You mentioned that we've had some change in the administration level of our school. How's things going so far for you guys?
I think pretty good. Yeah. People ask me that a lot. And I said, well, I think it's going pretty good. I guess you just need to ask people. Ask people in the school, ask students, ask the parents, and hopefully people are hearing good things. And, I think we got a great place. I think the students are great, the staff is great, the parents are good people.
Cool.
So overall, I think we can be pretty thankful where we're at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in. We're starting to get into the danger zone here. This is Ghost Garlic.
Ghost garlic.
Ghost pepper. Ghost pepper right there in the front.
Didn't hit it right at first. The more you chew it, the more
Now
it's
we're
out.
getting into that a little bit for sure. You have 3 children, as you mentioned. Jaden Thomas, former Windsor High School student. Did your other kids come to Windsor as well?
Yeah, our oldest daughter, Taylor, she went to school here, graduated. I think she's 31 years old, be 32. And her and her husband just moved from St. Louis, and we're happy about that.
Okay.
They live in Reunion over by the airport, so we get to see them more, which is great. She was a soccer player here and was a pretty good soccer player, and then went to Northern Colorado and got her communications degree. And then Tori, she, I don't know what, graduated in about 2012, and she was a distance runner and cross-country runner here, and graduated from Northern Colorado with her elementary teaching degree. So she's currently a teacher at Orchard Hill Elementary here in Windsor. She was at Eaton for 4 years, and then was fortunate enough to get a job at the new school at Orchard Hill.
Very nice.
So,
certainly through Facebook photos, you have a very tight-knit family. What advice would you give to parents who are wanting the same thing for their kids?
I would say just be there to support your kids. It's so important, I think, when students get older, because I look at that. You know, I think back about how my parents supported me growing up and everything I did. And, you know, growing up in a small town, I was involved in a lot of things. I was involved in marching band, you know, I did yearbook, did the musical my senior year, did 4 sports, was doing a lot of things. But my parents were there for everything. They supported everything I did, didn't matter what it was. And I still appreciate that today, and I always remember that. And, you know, I told my wife and I really try to support our kids and what they're doing. Just be there for them all the time, because it's important, and they'll remember that. And I just think that's the number one thing.
Absolutely. You ready?
I'm ready.
We're about to hit bear hot.
Whew. Okay.
This is the hottest one at Wing Shack.
Really? All right.
Fire in the hole.
Like I said, it builds.
Yeah. It's not an immediate pain. Coming off that last one, Ghost Garlic was hotter than I remember being on the last show. So, bear hot, maybe not so much. Are you a vinegar fan? Most of these sauces are sort of vinegar based.
Yeah, I'm okay with vinegar. Yeah. The old, you know, like I said, vinegar and cucumbers growing up.
Right? That's a Nebraska thing right there.
Yeah.
Got to bring them in the milk now.
It's definitely clearing the sinuses.
Right? Both of us are feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah,
so.
a little under the weather, so this is not a bad thing.
No doubt. It'll be a little
well,
easier.
to a point.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Yeah.
You are a big wrestling person, won a state championship in wrestling in Nebraska. We've had you announcing wrestling here at the school. I know you're a wrestling coach. Why the passion for wrestling?
Well, I won't try to make that too long, but it's a long story. You know, growing up in the 70s and then 80s, I just did a lot of things, a lot of sports, and obviously grew up a sports fan, around it with my parents, and so of all the sports I did a ton of them. Wrestling was the one thing that when I got to high school as a freshman in high school, I had a hard time deciding what to do. It was funny because my dad wanted me to wrestle, my mom wanted me to play basketball. And the wrestling coach was on me to wrestle, and the basketball coach was on me to play basketball because I was decent at that sport. And I still remember today, we were in the locker room in 8th grade, and we lost a finals of the tournament, and the guys started arguing with each other and kind of blaming each other. And I looked around and I thought, you know what? Wrestling, there's only one person to blame, and that's yourself. And I said, you know, I think I'm just going to wrestle because it's all up to me. And it is a team sport, I get it, but still, the result in the end is really on that person, me. And so I just wanted it to be up to me, and I think hard work. I'm a little biased, obviously. I've done a lot of sports and I've seen it. I think wrestling is one of the hardest sports to do in the world just because of all that's involved with it. And I just think that hard work of growing up, like I said, in that shop and really having a good work ethic, and I think that boded well for me when it comes to wrestling.
And you've enjoyed the announcing. We've had a great time with you on there.
It's great.
People say great things about you, but that's been a really nice addition for us to have as well.
I love it. I love announcing. So, you know, I always joke that's like my second career when I retire. But
Yeah.
I love doing it. I just love explaining it to people because it's not well known by some people. And so if they're going to watch their grandkids or, you know, relatives, I just want them to understand what's going on out there. Because there's points going up on the scoreboard, but they might not realize what's going on or why.
Okay, we're about to hit it.
All right.
The bomb, Beyond Insanity, 150,000 on the Scoville scale. It will clear your sinuses for sure.
Woo!
Bit of a slower burn, too.
Yeah, one that's not going to go away.
Indeed. Indeed, it is a steady climb. It's almost like the Manitou Incline. I don't know if you've ever done that.
No, I haven't, but I know about it.
Yeah, this is kind of the Manitou Incline of hot sauces.
My eyes are watering.
Yep.
It builds. It's not bad at first, but it builds.
Yep, and here we are. The next question, as I tried to get it out as well. I was handed a picture of an article that's hanging in your garage and has been there since I think 2003. I saw the date. And in that, you mentioned that age is just a number. It's your spirit that keeps you young. Mm-hmm. How have you been able to hang on to that? And where did that thought process come from?
Well, it's, woo!
I'm feeling it today.
That is building. Just trying to talk here. So I'm gonna go. My eyes are watering. I'm gonna go back to that shop.
Okay.
That I grew up in. So when I was young, I used to do things that looking back, was crazy. My grandfather in that shop, he would have me do things that I probably should never have been doing, like jumping on a tractor and driving through town out to get equipment when I couldn't see over the steering wheel, couldn't touch the pedals hardly, had to get to the edge of the seat, look through the steering wheel.
A Nebraska thing.
And so I was doing things around the shop that was pretty dangerous, actually.
Uh-huh.
But he used to tell me all the time, you can do it. Because sometimes I'd look at him and say, Grandpa, I don't know if I can do this.
Right.
And he would say, whoo, he would say, no, you can do it.
Tears are rolling.
Yeah, he'd say, no, you can do it. And then, lo and behold, I would end up doing it, and I'd be successful at it. Well, as I spent years in that shop, I felt myself just starting to believe I could do anything. Uh-huh. I always just believed in myself that I could do whatever I set out to do, or I could figure it out. So I think what I'm getting at there, and why I'm saying that, is because it transcended as I got older. I think it was all about attitude. Just the attitude that, you know what, if you work hard enough and you spend the time, you can be successful.
Easy on the eyes.
And, yeah, oh, that's true. Don't put my fingers.
No, use the Kleenex.
Yeah, I always just thought, if you work hard enough and you're good with people, you can be successful. And then with age and all that, if you just have confidence, I think, and you believe in what you're doing, then I think you don't necessarily worry about your age. It's just a number. Because I see my father, my dad's 88 years old, I think, and he's still working and moving, and he's a smart guy, and he's just got a positive attitude every day. Every day. So just have a positive attitude every day, and then age is a number.
And I would say the same for you. You always come into work every day, positive attitude, ready to say hello to every student that you possibly can.
And I always joke, even if I'm not having a great day, it's my job not let anybody know that. Because I shouldn't be really putting that on anybody else.
Agreed.
That's about me.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Actually, I'm not doing too bad. I think when this is all done, I'm going to be able to breathe better. That's for sure. Woo.
Yeah, that one got me. I think there was quite a bit more sauce on that one.
Yeah.
Than there was the bone-in ones.
So, I don't know. Hopefully we don't have to call an ambulance on this next one.
Well, let's find out, shall we?
Yeah.
Newest sauce to the show is called Elijah's Extreme Regret. 650,000 on the Scoville scale, although at this point, I don't know if I can taste anything.
Well, I don't know what the Scoville scale is, but that doesn't sound good. All right, here we go. Diving in.
Like I said, I don't know if I'm tasting that it's hotter.
I think the bomb set us up for this one.
Right, I think that's why when they do hot ones, it comes in at number 8 because you're not going to taste the last 2.
Really?
So that's kind of how they do it on the show. That one, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Now, another 5 minutes,
Right?
Mike, it might start building.
And I'll tell you when it does, right around lunch.
Really?
You'll definitely know that you had some hot wings today.
Well, I got a couple of meetings, one at 10, one at 11, so the people I'm meeting with might be wondering when I'm squirming in my chair what's going on. I better just need to tell them before we start meeting.
Last question of the day. You were interim principal last year. Now you're full-on principal this year. Been at Windsor for
This is 22.
22 years. What do you want your legacy at Windsor High School to be?
I really, man, I'm going to get emotional about this one. Holy moly.
It's okay. You're
Calm
crying.
down.
You're crying already.
Yeah, there you go. So you never know. I really just want it to be that I treated the students and the staff and parents with respect. And I tried to be somebody that just wanted to be welcoming, and you know, I really do love our students, man. I really love our students.
Yeah.
And I care about them. And I think that's the key. You got to let the students and the staff and the parents know that you care about them. Because if you really care about the students and you get it across and you're not blowing smoke, that's what counts, because they can tell. So I guess I just want that to be my legacy, that I cared, that I really cared.
And you told every student at the beginning of the year in the assembly that you value them.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Because every student has value, and I don't just say that. Because some of these things, I think, across the country or whatever.
Easy on nice. Easy
Yeah,
on
yeah.
nice.
I think across the country, people say that, but I've said to students and I say to staff, you know, you got to be able to get that across. And in the end, do you really mean it, or are you just saying it because it sounds good? So I really do mean it, and I really do mean that every student has value. You know, I love lots of different things, activities and whatever, but there's a lot of hardworking kids out there, and we need to just value everybody. As long as we respect each other in the school, we have no worries.
Cool.
We'll be a great place.
And we value you, Dick. We really appreciate you. Super happy that you're in the role that you're in. And it's been an honor to have you here on Wizards on Fire.
This has been great.
Good.
Thanks for inviting me. Again, congrats to the students.
Congrats to you for making it through the Wings of Death.
Woo! Yeah, it was all right.
It's okay. It's
My fear, I had a little bit of fear, but got through the fear, and it was okay. I would encourage others to do this.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because now it's time to turn it over to the student body. We have been planning this show. I've been planning this show all summer. And so my idea was to have students interview teachers that they appreciate, teachers that they enjoy having in class. So, a quick preview of what's to come. We've got Gary Jones and Mr. Bator. We've got James Beats and Mr. Beats, father-son combo there. That should be pretty entertaining. Mrs. Larrick's going to be interviewed by Tristan Bruning. Levi Bacon will be interviewing Mrs. Bacon, who is apparently very soft when it comes to heat. So that one should be entertaining. We got Rye Simmons and KJ. Jack Oglesby with Officer Smith. Matthias Velgersdijk with Mr. Boschart. Jackson Grace and Mr. Betty. Ashton Sluter and Mr. Schmalzer. Arthur Scott, Mrs. Fox. Addie Heward and Mrs. Gray. Z. Painka and Mr. Jones. Davin Kafaji and Ms. Plowman. That one should be entertaining for sure. Jazz Rouse with Mr. Caters. Dylan Henson with Mr. Wynn. Sonia Miller and Mrs. Teal. Cam Smith and Mr. Brockway. Gabby Smith and Mr. Sessman.
Oh, that's going to be good.
It's quite
Those
the
are going to
line,
be some
for
good
sure.
interviews.
When we started this baby up, before school even started, I was amazed at how many teachers said that they would do this. And now I'm wondering, after they watch us, if they will call or email me back and say, take me off the list.
I'll tell you what, this was good, and I do have to say, this video productions department, you're all, the students and yourself, you guys are so great.
Thank you.
COVID was tough,
Yeah.
but the good thing that came from COVID was this department started, and we started looking at video productions and broadcasting, and it's been such a great thing for our school.
Thank you very much. We have a great time doing it, and I hope the students love it as well. And so we're just trying to provide some entertainment for the student body as we get into a Friday.
It's great. Thank you.
All right, you betcha. Thank you all for joining us as well. As I said, we'll start with the student interviews within the next couple of weeks, and we look forward to putting those out for you to see. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.